Monday morning comes too soon. We have to be moved out by noon. I won't give up, I never will, but these dreams cannot pay the bills. Good night, my love. I hope you're well. You come and you go, wish you'd stay, but you don't. And I can't keep my hands closed. You come and you go, wish you'd stay, but you won't. And I can't keep my eyes closed. I wrote a pretty song for you. You listen like you always do. Then hush my body back to sleep so I could have another dream. Hello and welcome to the stream. Still setting things up here. I don't know if I told you last time, but my schedule has changed at work. So I actually work today instead of having today off as usual. So my sleep has just, Let me get this playlist working. I love this song for some reason, but it's not going to work out for our purposes of the stream. However, I just think messing up with me today. However, I do have my typical playlist that I use here is called Delicate. Where's my playlist? Did somebody misput? There it is. Somebody lost my playlist. Hey, Bessie Gray, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Christian Cedric, yes, I talked about changing the schedule. But you know what? I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to do what I have to do. At least it's one day a week for the stream. It's the least I can do, you know? So here we are. Clive, welcome to the stream. Gambare. Thank you. Thank you very much. Awesome. That's nice. That is great. So I'll just say this now. I feel like I'm going to repeat it forever, but I work on Fridays now. So I have work from 2 hours. 2 hours from now. I do have work, so I will have to not even end the stream early, more like do the 1 hour, and then if we extend it, great. If we don't extend it, great. That works too. So let's do it. Let's start not at the beginning. Is this it about this playlist? Wow. Comment ça y a passé les chansons ici là? Looks like I'll have to find a new playlist. This is one of my favorite playlists, but it looks like it's not that many. But you know what? We do with what we have, and we do what we can. All right. Welcome back to the stream. My name is Kamga. If you're tuning in, and this is the first time you see my face, either in the live stream or in the replay, I am a Cameroonian writer and video creator, currently living in the US, and I do Friday streams to talk about Jesus. I can't do two things at the same time. I don't know. Is anybody else? People talk about multitasking and stuff, and even for my job, I have to, switch from task to task. But I realize that when I'm talking, I find it hard to do anything else. I'm trying to wear my watch and I cannot. I have to pause or have to think about it more seriously, So let's do this. There you go. Voila. J'ai porté ma montre. Today's Friday the 16th of April. The last time I streamed was last week. I haven't put up any videos this week, and a couple of reasons. First of all, I got my first dose of the COVID vaccine. What kind of voice is that? And so it took me down. Well, not really took me down. I just had pain in my arm, but being the big baby that I am, I was like, you know what? I just took the vaccine. I have a couple of days off. I'm just going to sit here and do nothing because, I deserve it. Sometimes you have to take care of yourself. The transition is that I was just lazy. I just didn't want to do anything. But I was tired though, like seriously. And then my schedule at work had changed, so I had to settle in with a new format. And I had a long stretch of time where I had to do nothing. And if anything, I realized that when you have too much time to do things, you tend to do nothing. Constraints make creatives. I have evidence of that now because, for example, I have work in a few, and I was still able to make time for this stream, right? I didn't put up the stream early enough, but the stream stays. Fridays, 9:30 Mountain Standard Time, this stream, for as long as I can keep up with it. In fact, even if I'm sick, I'm going to turn on the stream and I'm going to sit there and just be like, I'm sick. So we're going to do it. Today we're talking about something that I care about a lot, that I think, just to preface this, right? To preface it, I'm not talking about saving in the religious sense of the term. Because when I put up the thing, I was like, what would somebody think about, Jesus Christ and being the savior? That's not what I'm talking about here today. All right. Well, this is not church. I mean, everywhere is church, but this stream right now is not. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a priest. I'm not trying to preach to anybody. Somebody just unsubscribed to my channel. Why did you leave? I thought we were friends. Nah, just kidding. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do. OMG, are you going to die? I can't talk much about the vaccine, about COVID. Like, I don't talk about things that I don't know. I try not to because, I mean, unless we're friends and it's privately, I'm just giving my opinions and I'm assuming that that is my opinion. But generally speaking, I thought about this whole vaccine thing and I was like, eventually they're going to force everybody to do it. So why am I fighting? Because soon it'll become a requirement. You'll not be able to travel. You're not able to do things unless you have the vaccine. So I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and do it. After I'm African. If COVID vaccine is going to hurt me, then I don't have the proper genes to deal with it. But yeah. So thank you for the stream, for being here, Christian Cedric, Clive. So let's talk about the topic at hand, which is no one is coming to save you. This music doesn't match the theme. I'm trying to be very somber and very aggravating. So I'm going to change the song to something else. This one should work. In the beginning of time, there was time. Hey, Danny boy. Welcome to the stream. Thank you so much for watching. I haven't put up videos in the whole week, and I love doing these live streams because we get to interact in a way. And I'm glad that you're here. The past week has been a little bit tough. I got the COVID vaccine, so my arm hurt. I just took time off to just sit. And I had some other things I'm dealing with in my personal life sometimes I just cannot make videos because the way I do my reaction videos, I want to be fully present. I want to really enjoy them. So if I find that I'm, mentally not there, I try not to do it. But I'm working on reducing that and making it less of an excuse because life always happens no matter what we do. And like the topic of the video says, I'm trying to do, talk about no one's coming to save you. Because for me, what I have realized, I guess is life in like a lot of things. It's you will have to fight for your goals in life, whether it's being saved, religiously speaking, whether it's finding a job, whether it's being in a relationship, whether it's doing things that you want to do. You have to fight for them. And the sentence of this stream that no one is coming to save you, and here's why, is because every time, at least you understand, like. See, it punches you in a way that it's not like you're sick, but it's more like you're not yourself, So, thank you for at least you understand. I was like, this isn't going to be a valid excuse for me to not make videos. I like, you know what? At least I have some videos. People should go and watch the videos that I've made. I'll come back and make more videos later on. So, yeah, talking about no one is coming to save you, because I find myself in a position now in my life where a lot of the things I've been trying to run away from in my head, like my bad habits, my mental constraints, like things that I tell myself, I'm trying to now work on them actively. Because the truth is that, first of all of us are going to die eventually. That's like the one thing that is true in this earth. You're born, you live, and you die. Whether you get successful, whether you have money, all those things, it depends on a lot of factors, but the very sure fact is that we are going to die, at least for now, until they find a cure for, I don't know, death, which hopefully I hope they don't, because I think people should die. Like, this sounds very morbid, but I think the cycle of life needs to continue. Kids need to grow. The way life happens. Life is a cycle. Without death, what's the point of life? If you're going to live forever, then why are you even going to do anything? But that's not the point. I just think that we spend a lot of time hoping that other people are going to come and help us from our troubles. I don't think. Let me preface this. I don't think we should not seek help. Like, I'm not saying that we should, be by ourselves and do our thing by ourselves and just build everything alone. Like, of course, you know that no man is an island. You know that you cannot build a family alone. You need a man and a woman to come together and, and kiss and make babies, because that's how babies are made. But a lot of times there are many times that we outsource our happiness. We outsource our sense of living, where you have a goal. Say, for example, I have a dream. Say, I want to grow this YouTube channel, right? And I'm sitting here and I'm blaming everybody. People are not subscribing. My family is not liking my videos. My friends who support me, you're not watching my ads. You're not sending me super chats, which, by the way, you can send super chats on the live stream. Just hashtag shameless plug. And I tend to do that a lot, where instead of looking at what I can do, what I can fix, I'm looking at what everybody else has done. And the statement of no one is coming to save you is because we have to realize that everybody is fighting for their own thing. Everybody has a problem, something that they're dealing with. In theory, like as I'm saying it now, I'm aware that it sounds nice to hear. It sounds great. I know that in theory people have problems, but in reality, I'm just even cross-checking myself. Do I actually apply that on a day-to-day basis? Do I actually look at people as though they have issues and that I can be, I can help, or I can be less of a problem? Even if I cannot be a solution, I can be less of a problem to their lives. Because in theory, it's great. Yeah, everybody has problems. But do we act as if everybody has problems? Do we actually, call people and be like, hey, what's up? How are you doing? And the person like, I'm fine. No, actually, really, how are you? How are you doing? Like, really, tell me, what's up? So, yeah, if I had to summarize that, because this stream is probably going to be long, because unnecessarily long, because the thing is, nobody's coming to save you. It's just what it is. Nobody's coming here to take you out of your problems and give you the life that you want. You have to build it. You have to fight for it. Fights don't have to be aggressive. They don't have to be, you selling your soul, or you being this recluse hermit that you shut off all your friends on social media, and then now you're suddenly like, let me work on my dreams by myself and do this thing here that I want to do. Nah. I think we need each other. We need help. We need people, you need therapy. You need medical attention. You need to see a doctor. You need to find somebody who has more experience than you do to get you somewhere. But no one will leave their house, come and knock at your door, and fight for your dreams. Fight for your success. Maybe your parents will do it for a bit. Your parents sort of don't have a choice. But what other people don't have parents? What other people don't have people like that in their lives? So I think we really have to understand and internalize the fact that everybody has their things that they're dealing with. And that if you have something that you want to see in the world, you have to go out of your way and go and make it. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. No, I'm not done. But yeah, that was a really big idea I wanted to share with you today. And if you have any questions, any topics, anything you want to talk about surrounding this, or even anything else, I'm more than happy to bounce ideas with you. I really just wanted to share that idea that you cannot sit and expect people to come and help you to solve your problems. Even if you want them to help you, you have to go to them, and you have to be willing to accept whatever version of help that they give you. It might not be enough for you, but that's all what they can provide at this particular time. And the reverse too is true. You cannot save everybody in your life. Some people, you just can't. You can do what you can. You can be there for them. You can, provide assistance. You can give advice. You can give them book recommendations. You can even pay for them to go and get help. But you cannot change them for them. So don't try to. Just do what you can. All right. Patty Griffin, Death Got a Warrant. I'll look for a song. Let me write that down somewhere. Where's my pen? Sadly, I cannot play it on YouTube because copyright reasons. But yeah, I'll look for the song. Monsieur Cédric. Monsieur Christian Cédric. Man, I miss Cameroon. Like, I miss home in a way that I never thought that I will. Like the food, the noise, the people, the colors, the culture. I used to be so terribly homesick that I was like, man, would I ever go back and see the house? My parents, my siblings, everybody's back home. I love PE. I know Cameroon has its problems like every other country, but I love my country, man. I love my country. If you see the way Americans love their country, you feel jealous and you love yours more. Like, it's just something that just keeps getting done on me every single day. But yeah, that's the idea. Do you have any questions, any concerns, any comments, any thing that you're like, Kamga, that's a lie. That's not true. Somebody can come and save you. I had a conversation with a friend. He essentially told me that that it's possible for somebody to have your interest more than you do. And now that I think about it, I feel like part of it is true because, say, for example, you're a drug addict. Like, that's an extreme case. You might not be able to control your addiction. You might not be able to take action to help you stop that problem in your life. So someone else who's watching from outside can come in and sort of force you into a position where you will be able to change. Now, I feel like where that ends is when, say, you're sober, you're clean, and then you come in contact again with drugs and you have to make that decision at that particular point. Do you go back to where you were or do you stay clean? I'm not a drug addict. I've never seen one. I've only watched movies and, I only have the bare idea of it. But I'm thinking that at some point, it still comes down to you making a decision of changing your life, even if someone comes to give you the help that you need. Yeah. Oh, bro, you're confusing me a little bit. Don't try to change them for them, but help them. Let me see. That's a good point that you brought up there. I actually don't want to be too confused people, because if I'm confusing, it means that I myself don't understand what I'm saying. So what I'm trying to say is that you cannot change people unless they want to. That's the first part. You can provide help. You can provide assistance. You can give advice. You can give them books, right? You can say, all right, you want to build a business. Here's how you build a business. Here's some tutorials. Here's my experience. You can share that with them. That's helping them. Whether they take your advice and move forward with that, whether they do something, is completely up to them. That's the change. So there is help, which is what you're providing, assistance. There is change, which I feel is more permanent, where it's a transformation of the mindset, transformation of the body, transformation of a way of looking at things. So what I'm trying to say is that you can provide assistance. You can tell somebody, here's how you can do something. Here's what I think. But you should not rely on forcing them that because you have said this thing now, they are suddenly going to now do it. Like, it's not your job to change them. You can be your neighbor's keeper without being your neighbor's wallet. Is this still confusing? I hope it's not. Ahadi, welcome to the stream. I was expecting you like hours ago. Why are you so late? Danny boy, let me know if that made sense. I think it's a duality that we fail to understand, because I like to take my own circumstances, because it's just, it's my experience, what I know. I don't know what's happening in your life. I don't know what you're dealing with. For me, I have had many people who try to help me by, pointing me in the right direction. I think you should do this. I think you should do that. They've given me help. But now the problem becomes when I don't take their advice and then they feel bad that I'm wasting their time. And so what I'm trying to say is that you can give somebody help, but it's up to them to take the help or not. Like, you can provide the assistance. Whether they choose to follow through with it, it's entirely up to them. And you should not attach yourself to that outcome, because it's their outcome. All right. So, Danny boy, let me know if that makes sense. Let me clarify. I'll be more than happy to clarify, because if I don't ever understand what I'm saying, then I cannot explain it. I think that's the way knowledge works. If you cannot explain something to somebody, then you're just fooling yourself. You don't know what you're talking about. So I want to be able to know what I'm talking about. So the more questions you ask, the better for me to clarify my thoughts and explain things more. Yeah. Okay, but if you say, so what if there's some situation that they can't change? Like what, for example? I'm curious about this. I mean, of course, there are extremes to everything. There's like, for example, say you're born blind. You cannot change that. I mean, unless it's a miracle that happens, you will probably be blind for the rest of your life. Or you're born handicapped. Yeah, you can get a prosthesis and get an additional leg or something. Like, there are circumstances that cannot be changed. And I guess it goes into the realm of limitations. Like, would you let those circumstances limit you to achieve what you're capable of doing within what you're capable of doing. So just clarify, Danny, when you say some situation that cannot change, what do you mean? Like what, for example? Because I think with an example, I'll be able to provide a context for that particular case. I think this concept is easy when I like this one. I think this concept is easy when you are a professional helping someone. I think it's hard to sit back and watch someone fall if they're a relative or loved one. You see, that's the attachment problem. I like to call it the attachment problem because I deal with it. I deal with it all the time because I have siblings. I have a brother and 2 sisters. So I try to provide like, hey, here's what I think, here's my experience. Here's what I think you should do. My dad has the same problem. My dad had this problem with me his whole life because he would tell me things and I would sit there and I'm like, yeah, that's a nice idea, but I don't want to do it. I mean, I wouldn't say I don't want to do it. It's more like I would not take action on it just because I was lazy, dumb, or I just didn't think it was a good idea at the time. And now I'm looking back, I'm like, oh yeah, that actually made a lot of sense. So like, for example, let me take one example, my dad. My dad had always talked to me about doing a business plan, registering a business, and doing like an actual business, like a registered, thing. And I never took his advice. I thought it was too much work. And then now, like 10, 15 years later, I talked to him about it and he's like, yeah, I told you this thing the whole time. Why wouldn't you do it? So when you say that, yeah, it's true. If you're invested in the person's success, it gets difficult. I cannot lie. It gets very difficult. But here's the thing. Let me change the song. It doesn't match the mood I'm trying to bring right now. The thing with loved ones, take a child, right? I'm not a parent, so all these are just ideas and examples. If you're a parent and you have a young child, tell me if I'm wrong. You know that your child needs to learn from experience, like 100%. That if they don't learn, for example, that touching the stove is going to burn them, then they are less likely to get that experience. When we look at loved ones, the truth is, yes, we want to protect them. We love them so much that we want to have their best interest. We don't want them to get hurt. We don't want nothing bad to happen to them. But the more we want nothing bad to happen to them, to them, the more likely it is that something bad will happen because we protected them from all the things that we're going to give them experience. So yes, it is hard to sit back and watch someone fail. But I think it's better to make an environment where they know that they can come to you when they fail. So instead of trying to protect them, provide advice and be the person that they can come to. I feel like as a parent, what I would like to do is to be able to be the kind of parent that, yes, my kid to go and do stupid things, but they know that they can always come back. Not because I am lenient, but more like they can count on me. So I'm like, if you have a loved one who is going through something difficult and it's difficult to watch them fail, you need to build a relationship to a point where they can come back to you when they need help. Because everybody needs help. I'm sure you have somebody that you can go to when you need help. And I think the big issue here is we don't build environments that allow people to be okay with failing, which is not really failing. It's more like gaining experience through trial and error. And so I guess we have to remove ourselves a little bit from this equation. It's hard. Yes, I agree. It's 100% it's hard. But in the long term, you want to build relationships with your family, with your siblings, with your kids, with your parents, where they can count on you, knowing that you will be there for them. So I don't know how I also answer your question, Hadi. I don't know. It's difficult. So I feel like it's one of those tough things that you have to decide for yourself. Are you willing to sacrifice short-term pain for long-term growth? Or would you rather just let them have the pain right now so that they can eventually grow faster? When you look at it logically, it makes sense to let them fail. My thoughts. Like if they got problems in their life that they can't change. What kind of problems, Danny? Like just give a random example, because what problem is unchangeable? Think about this. Let's take the worst case scenario. You get fired from your... No, that's not the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is that you die. There's nothing you can do after that. You're dead. So all your problems are gone. What give me an example of a problem that they can have that they cannot change? Because I think everything is changeable unless you were born with it. If you're born with it, then you cannot change it, which means that you have to learn to accept it. Like we did the serenity prayer last time. The wisdom, let me find it. I try to cram this prayer, but I keep forgetting it. Let me see it. Find it. Serenity prayer. written by American theologian Reinhard Niebuhr. So is God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. This is the prayer that whenever I hear this statement about change and problems, my mind always goes back to. I'm going to share it here in the comment section just so you can see. I think this prayer helps to ground me, or at least ground people, in the idea that God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. There are things that you can change, and there are things that you cannot change. And I think unhappiness comes with trying to change the things that cannot be changed. Does that make sense? I hope it does, because I sound so smart. Sometimes I feel like I'm just saying stupid things. Je mange du poisson braisé en passant. Okay. Shots fired. All right, Monsieur Christian Cedric. Shots fired. You know what? It's okay. He's eating roast fish, thinking of me. No problem. It's all right. Regarding what you said, I have to confess, I hate these people with the savior syndrome. They are too invasive and easily can harass you. That sounds like all African, well, I'm generalizing here, most African parents, where people have their own issues, their own problems in their own lives, but they want to fix your problems. And even when you tell them, like, hey, you know what, thank you for the advice, they're like, no. You have to do what I just told you. When are you going to start? When are you going to go and look for a school? When are you going to find a husband? When are you going to leave the country? Give me a date? They want you to be accountable to them, whereas they cannot be accountable to themselves. What? Oh man, it's interesting when you get to a place in your life where you can start watching these people, sometimes I think the biggest strength, that's why I love Stoicism so much and I'm trying to apply it in my life. The biggest strength, what makes someone really powerful is restraint. It's when somebody comes to you with advice and you can look at them and you can acknowledge, what they're trying to do, and you can like, thank you, and just move on. Not try to explain to them, not trying to describe them why you're not going to do it, not try to, no. Just like, grandfriend, grandsir, mom, auntie, I'm glad, thank you for your concern. I appreciate you taking the time to come here and share these words of wisdom with me. I have heard you. And then you move on. This is the project manager in me can't resist laying out a plan to help most times, which means settling milestones and doing regular follow-ups. Technically, it allows people to fail, but follow-ups often. We have to fight our urges. We have weaknesses, we have habits, we have things that, are not great. The thing that I've noticed with my siblings is that depending on who you're dealing with, I was actually talking with a client the other day, a coaching client, and a question came up about feedback. And the client wanted to find out, when do you give people feedback? When do you provide feedback to people? Like, if you're the kind of honest person who wants to tell people what to do and how to do it, I mean, I've been that guy. I feel like even now, I've limited it now to only wait for people to ask me, because I tend to just give unsolicited advice for no reason. I mean, look at all my videos on the internet. They're mostly me advising people that I would never even find me. Like, it's in my nature to want to help people by telling them what I think they should do. But the flaw in that is that, first of all, I never have the full context. I don't know what they're dealing with. Like Danny Boy mentioned earlier, the people might have problems that they cannot change. Like, there are things that are in your life that you're dealing with. Last week, whole of this week, in fact, for the past 2 weeks, I've not been able to film a video on my channel because I'm dealing with things that are just making it harder for me to film videos. So somebody can come and tell me, hey, Kamga, if you want to grow your YouTube channel, you have to be filming videos every day. And I'll be like, you have no idea what I'm dealing with, bro. Like, you don't know what I'm dealing with. Right? So even if you give me a plan, even if you tell me what to do, even if all those things are lined up in like ducks in a row, here's what you should do, here's how you should organize your time, here's what you should take out, I will sit there and I will listen to you, and my mind will go straight to, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just trying to feel better about yourself. You're not trying to help me. Ahadi, I'm not saying this about you. That's not what I'm saying. Let me clarify. But generally speaking, people don't know the context of what other people are dealing with. And the reason why I love Gary Vaynerchuk is because over the years, he has improved his advice to really take into consideration the context, because he's, people used to blame him and say hustle, 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 hustle culture. I understand where Gary Vee is coming from because I've listened to a lot of his content. I've seen him in different scenarios, and I understand that the baseline is that if you want something, know yourself and go after it. Yes, the world is difficult and stuff, but most people who have been successful in life have had to work for it. It's difficult to find somebody who has not had to work for their success. Very difficult. Do they exist? Yes, sure. But what are the odds of finding somebody who was just lucky in life? Right. So, yeah. I'll come back. Hey, Liz, welcome. Yes, well, I don't know if you actually can, because I probably forgot everything that I said. I'll just recommend that you watch the. Thank you for the comment, for the compliment. I appreciate that. You probably have to watch the replay, but overall, the conversation so far has gotten to the point where we're talking about helping people, and a question came up here that I was answering about when should you help people? Like, how do you give advice? When do you lay things out? And Danny Boy, who I'm still waiting for to give me one of the problems that cannot be changed, mentioned that, what if somebody's in a situation they cannot change? Like, how do you help people? I think I'm confused myself right now. The overall point is that I'm trying to explain that you have to sometimes know when to step back and let people come to you for help, and not try to force your help onto them, because it might backfire. I give the example of children. Yeah, Liz, you can actually understand this better. Maybe I'll even love your input. As a parent, you know that your kids have to learn from experience. That's the logic part. But the emotional, the parental part wants to protect them from everything. And the truth is that if you protect your kids from everything, they never learn anything. And that's, would you rather protect them now, protect them from short-term pain now, and then prepare them from long-term pain for the future, and sacrifice long-term growth? Because I think a lot of us don't realize that people might need the pain now so they don't have to deal with the pain in the future. Life is unpredictable. You cannot know what is going to happen or when it's going to happen. So all you can do is just prepare and just have scenarios in your mind. Like I take the example of the hot, stove. If your child never gets burnt, this sounds like I'm telling you go and burn your kids so they can learn lessons about not touching hot stoves. That's what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I don't promote violence of any kind. But if they never learn those things, falling, scraping their knee, fighting, I just keep talking about violent things. If they never learn those small things that enable them to grow and realize that the world is difficult, that the world is harsh, like failing or not being the best in class, and they have to sit there and be like, "Mom, I failed." You're like, "Yeah, you failed," and then they cry, and then they cry for like, I don't know, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I don't know how long people let kids cry, and then you're like, "Hey, listen, you worked hard, you did, you did your best. You try again next time." The book Mindset by Carl S. Dweck talks a lot about the idea of the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. And when you look at people who embrace the growth mindset, they are very much willing to experiment and try things, and they don't rely so much on the outcome, whether it's win or lose. It's more of the process. It's more of the working, the growth that comes with trying things. So, summary is, no one is coming to save you, and also you cannot save everybody. You can give them help, but whether they take that help and use it is not up to you. So all you can do is create an environment where they can feel comfortable to come back to you if and when they choose to get your help. I sound so smart. Dang, I should buy myself a drink. Hadi says, I totally agree with you, Kamga. I think you shouldn't help and force or protect your insecurities to others if you don't have the context or it's mutually agreed that you're helping that person. 100%. 100%. I think it's and like I said earlier, it's easy like to know these things, right? I agree with you, and I know that I want to do this for myself, for my siblings, for my friends, but the reality of it requires that you practice on a daily basis, and you even practice with yourself. Because if you come across a lot of advice, and this is a problem with personal development, self-help, the industry, it's a $1 billion industry for not good reasons. Because people are addicted to self-development. People are addicted to reading about growth, reading about personal development, reading about improving their lives. but do they actually improve their lives? That's why they keep buying the books, keep buying the programs, buying the courses, buying the things, because they don't do it. We read all the books. I mean, guilty. Look at books. I have books, my whole house full of books. But do we actually apply the things that we read in the books? I feel like if we read just 5 books, 5 is even too much. You can read one book and change your whole life with just one book by reading it well. There's the quote by, I think it's Bruce Lee: "Fear not the man who's practiced 10,000 kicks," right? But oh no, fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times. Because when we think about personal development, self-help, the whole idea of working and building your dreams and all that stuff, there's so many books, so many YouTube channels, so much content on the internet that you can always find something to inspire you and motivate you at any given time. That's like advice. You can always find somebody to give you advice. Always. The question is, do you actually use the advice? And that's the trap. That's the personal development trap. Where there is so much content available, so many people are trying to save you, some people are trying to assist you, get you to do things. So you read and then you feel this sense of, yes, I know now what to do right now. But then, you wake up in the morning and like, yeah, I'm tired. I don't want to do this. I don't want to write this article. I mean, I'm saying this from my personal experience. This is what I do all the time. And it's only recently that I've been able to point out those things and realize like the traps in my life. Like where, for example, this is something that happened this morning. I was going to start this stream and I wanted to take a shower before I started the stream. And I caught myself trying to explain why I should not take a shower before I start the stream. I was like, oh wait, I have time. No, I don't have to do it. I can take my shower later in the afternoon. I have to do it. And I was like, wait, why am I saying these things in my head? So I just stopped. I was scrolling on my computer. I was clicking things. And I was like, nope, I just dropped it. The human brain is an interesting place. It can be the strength. Danny boy, I don't know if you're still watching, but I'm really waiting for that example so I can give contextualize my opinion on the idea of help. If you don't train your brain to help you, it will hurt you. It's a scary machine. This machine built all these things. Like a human being who looks like me, you and me, made these computers, made all these internet things, what I'm using right now. Which means that we all have the inherent capacity to do amazing things. All of us. Like we're born to make things. The creator made us to create. It's our nature to make things. Whether it's babies, businesses, abs. It's our nature to make things. Then I feel like when we, take children. You see children trying to just draw. They don't care whether it's nice or beautiful. They just look at ants and insects like, what is this? They're curious. It's in our nature to find the world, to explore and discover. And then we grow older. I don't want to blame our parents. I don't want to blame society. I feel like it's not like blame. It's more like we've built an environment, like a global environment where there's so much structure that by the time you get to a certain age, you've forgotten that nature that you had. And then you succumb to it. And then you start now inculcating the same problems, the same limitations to the people who are coming after you. So I feel like a lot of adulting is so much more on learning than learning. Yeah. It's a lot about letting go of a lot of the things that we picked up when we're getting older that we should have to like, no, just, yeah. No justification. Kamga, do you want to be the black sheep? I mean, I know that I'm slightly exaggerating, but our elders here think we need to have the path, save destiny. I've been very lucky to not have many elders. I have my dad and my mom. And when I was younger, sound like I'm so old right now. When I was younger, my dad would tell me things and I would not agree with him. But I guess because I was in an environment that did not really need me to succeed, it was sort of okay. And I never got the pressure to have to succumb to what my parents wanted me to say. I got some, I don't want to call it pressure. For example, I mean, you probably know my story before, if you're on the channel for a bit. What I studied in college, in university, was not what I wanted to study. But it wasn't because I was forced. It was because I did not have confidence in myself. So I chose a path that was easier because everybody around me said I should do it. Like, for a while I blamed my parents for it. Completely honest, but now I realize that it was because I could not stand my ground. I did not stand my ground, and I did not. And standing my ground, yes, I think I have the answer for this. Even though you haven't really asked a question, I think we confuse making logical arguments to our elders with disagreeing with them and going our own way and being the black sheep. What I've noticed in my family and in other families is that people don't spend the time to make good arguments to tell their parents why they want to do what they want to do. They end up just finding the easy route, which is just leaving the house and escaping and being the black sheep. Maybe I sound too pacifist. Maybe I just like peace. I don't know. But I think that if African kids did two things: one, explain their dreams, goals, whatever it is well. Or two, just show their parents. For example, say you want to be an artist, musician, writer, whatever it is, right? Don't try to explain to your parents what it is. Just show your parents that you can take care of yourself. I think that is what every African parent wants to see. I am not a parent, but I think that African parents are worried about career paths, particularly because of the country in which we were built, where we grew up, and where there was not enough money for you to do what you wanted to do. So their fear is that you will not have a career. So if you can overcome that fear either with logical arguments or financial, the money is there, you'll win. Is it going to be easy? Probably not. Same way to solve situations, forgetting that we have personal sensitivity and way to look at life. Yeah, I think we do. I also think that we can change a lot more than we think that we can. There's always a book called Personality Isn't Permanent by Benjamin P. Hardy. I consider myself an introvert, 100%. And when I was working at IA, my job required me to be in front of people all the time. I was working as an event manager, so I organize poetry events, I'll be meeting people, we're talking all day, or just having people all day, every day. And it used to drain me a lot. Now I work as a customer service agent. My whole day, literally, is talking to people all the time, whether it's email, chat, phone calls. That's my job. Do I feel drained at the end of the day? Not as much as I used to. So what changed? I realized that I had other things that I wanted to work on. And if I don't want to call it an excuse. It's more like I rewrote myself. Sounds like I'm a superhero. My argument is not coming out clearly because I don't have enough knowledge to actually explain what I'm trying to say. But we sometimes put ourselves, I know I've done it many times, put ourselves in positions where we limit what we are capable of doing, not flying or carrying things. We limit the mental abilities that we have because we think that we are born a particular way. I'm not saying that sensitivity is bad because I'm extremely sensitive. In fact, one of the big things I've had in my relationship that has been an issue. What that was, whatever. So I think it's how we leverage those things. I keep going back to my example because I have had fights with my parents. Like I talk with my dad now on a daily basis and we agree on so many things on this project. We talk on everything. But has it always been that way? I never used to be able to even tell my dad, like, okay, what you just said now, I don't like it. And for most African kids, I guess they cannot even do that. Maybe I'm lucky. I know I'm very lucky to have the parents that I have. But I also know people who have it better than I have, and also people who've had it worse than I have. So I try, this is just my personal take, I try not to limit my own flaw, not to limit myself by my own flaws. I don't know if that makes sense. Like if I find that something is not working out because of who I am, I work on it and try to change it if it's necessary. You cannot impose your will without a fight. I know being rational with your loved ones might be harsh. Still, but let some space to any alternative. The word imposing just got me, not that it got me triggered. It's more like there is so much violence in our language these days. Cancel culture, banning, blocking people on the internet. There's like this violence in the language that we use against other people that I think that gets me to realize where I'm coming from. I sound, to most people, I know that, or in the real world, I sound quite, I don't say arrogant. Yeah, I sound like I know what I'm talking about. And most times I know that I'm trying to figure out what I'm talking about. And so what usually happens is that I give off this vibe that I'm too stuck in my ways. And it's something that I noticed with my dad as well. We are very similar in the way that we look at things. And I try when somebody asks for my advice or asks for my opinion on something, I try to keep that in check, because I realize that the language that I use can affect the person's perspective and can affect the way they see me, that can affect the way they see even themselves. And so when I read your comment, Christian said, you cannot impose your will without a fight. That first sentence already just stops me. Like, I don't want to fight. I don't want to fight anybody. I hate fighting. And I'm not passive aggressive either. I don't like confrontations. I would rather not have a confrontation to have it. But if I have to have a confrontation, I'm going to bring my 100%. When I look at the people that I care about, I think I found it. I think you have to choose who you fight with. Not all fights are important. Not everybody has to know what you're doing. Not everybody has to agree with you. Not everybody has to be on the same page with you. You have to pick and choose the people that you're willing to invest your time to get on your side. And I think that when you have those people in your life, and you know who you're fighting with and why you're fighting with them, and also is the relationship reciprocal? Like, are you both on the same page? Do you disagree because you care about each other, or do you just disagree because somebody wants you to do something in a particular way? So that fight, yeah, sure, you have to fight sometimes, which I don't like and I don't agree with, and I'd rather not do it. But I know it's life. You have to do it at some point. But if you're going to fight, then make it worth it. Choose the people you're going to fight with. Like, you cannot fight with everybody. It's like me going in my comment section trying to convince people that I was right. That's a waste of my time. That's a waste of my energy. If somebody disagrees with me and, I'm like, okay, fine, cool. There's some comments. I look at some comments and I was like, hey, thank you for leaving a comment. Other comments, I go in and actually write like an essay to explain why I did what I did. So I think we have to pick our lives, a fight in life. That's what I would say to this. You cannot walk around trying to convince all your family members, all your uncles and aunties why you're doing what you're doing. That's just a waste of energy. Nah. Je n'agree pas. I don't agree with fighting for them. And I think you can impose your will. I think you can express, not impose. Imposition still sounds very negative, in my opinion. Imposing my will means that I'm forcing you. Means I haven't convinced you. Means that I have weakness in my arguments. It's like what is happening right now with this live stream, right? If you leave this live stream and you're not convinced of what I said, then I failed to make a proper argument. I don't want to impose my thoughts on you. I want to share what I think. I want to explain what I think, and then bring you to my side, or find opposing perspectives that can allow me to understand better or bring me to your side. So the more force we use in our arguments, I feel like the less likely we are to actually succeed in them. When I watch and listen to people like Naval or Jordan Peterson or, Joko Willink, other people, they don't try to force me to believe what they're saying. They say what they're saying, they make their arguments, and they make it logically. Whether I agree with them or not is completely entirely up to me. And it's the example that I want to take for myself when I'm coming to these videos. When I make my videos, when I make my reaction videos, for example, it's not that I'm trying to make you to like the video. I like the video already. I already enjoy it. I'm having a great time. But I want to share what I think so that maybe, based on my arguments, maybe you would like it too. Does that make sense? StreamYard did an update, it seems. I noticed that when I played, it's pretty cool. When I shared the screen for the music screen, right, the music was a little bit loud. As soon as I added my screen to it, it reduced the volume. Yeah. Hadi says, if you spend a lot of time convincing people about what you're doing, it could hold you back from being exceptional, right? It could even hold you back from doing the thing that you're doing. That's just wasted energy. I mean, think about it. Think about wanting to start a YouTube channel. Let me take a random idea. If you spend attention to convince people why you should start a YouTube channel, or convincing yourself why you should start a YouTube channel, you might never actually start a YouTube channel. Just convince them with your actions. I think life is one of those things. What other things are there? Where your actions definitely speak more than your words, unless you're a writer. And even if you're a writer, the action of writing a book speaks more than your words of being a writer. Actions definitely do say a lot more. Yes, you can use words to convince. I can come here on the live stream and share what I'm thinking. But how I live my life, what I choose to do with this information, this is what matters. Because if I stand here every day and I tell you, hey, no one is coming to save you, this is going to happen, this is not going to happen on YouTube, and then you come here next year and you're like, but Kamga is in the same place, his life has not changed, he's still the same guy, making the same arguments, his net worth hasn't improved, he doesn't look any healthier, in fact, he's getting older. Then what am I saying? Yeah. Stream will be ending in 9 minutes, just a heads up. I'll not be able to extend the Friday streams anymore because I actually have work after the stream. I start work in 1 hour. So yeah, if you have any final comments, questions, ideas, thoughts, I am more than happy to entertain. If you want to actually join the stream, let me know. I'm sending the link. You can join for a bit. We can chat about this and then you carry on with your day. It actually snowed here a little bit in Pueblo. I feel like it probably snowed a lot more in Denver. I woke up this morning, I was like, wait, the floor is empty, but there's snow on the cars. What happened? C'est la vie. That's Colorado for you. One day is sunny. Next day is not so sunny. But to recap this whole idea of no one coming to save you, helping people, providing, assistance. We are all here to help each other. Somebody has something that you have, that you need, and you have something that somebody else needs. However, we need to be able to know when our help is actually needed. Not through like sixth sense, more like, EQ, emotional intelligence. Is it EQ? No, yeah, emotional. What's EQ? IQ, EQ? I think it's EQ, yeah, emotional quotient. Where sometimes people don't need your advice. It's happened to me so many times that I have to be ready to shut my mouth. I'm like, all right, Kamga, this is not, you don't need to give anything. Just sit quiet. You have on the one end, you have people who give too much advice and try to change people around them. On the other hand, you have people who, just let people fail. I guess we want to find a balance of knowing when to talk, knowing when to give advice, and knowing when to let people just live their lives. No one is here to save anybody. Jesus died for all of us. All right? Just live your life. I felt cheated with the amount of snow here in Denver. I thought spring would be... Don't worry, the summer will be way warmer. Yeah, it's funny how Colorado weather works. One day you're enjoying, this bright sun and everything is perfect, and then the next you're wondering like what is going on here? Why is there so much snow? I actually enjoy the snow. Fun fact. I prefer cold to heat. If I had to choose between a cold place and a warm place, I'll probably prefer the cold place. For a very stupid reason. You can always warm yourself up if you're cold. But when you're hot, having to cool down, I feel feels a lot less natural. I don't know. I'm weird like that. I feel like cooling your cooling yourself is a lot less natural than warming yourself up. Does that make sense? Sending some rays of cloudy sky to you. Hope it helps. Thank you, my friend. It does help a little bit. Ooh, I want to share you guys about my most recent love. I watch a lot of anime. And since we're ending the stream, this is like the random section of the stream. If you have any questions, any comments, feedback, just drop them in. I'm watching this anime. Let me know if you watch. It's called Hajime no Ippo, The Fighting. I finished watching season 1. It's about 100 episodes. And then I started watching season 2. I think I'm about episode 16. It's like the only show I watch. So I don't have time to watch movies. I don't have time to watch like human beings doing TV shows. But for some reason, when I'm trying to find, break from work or studying, I actually watch anime. And I've been watching Ippo, Makunochi Ippo. That's the main character. This 16-year-old boy who's been bullied in high school. And one day, he's been beaten up by his bullies. a boxer helps him out. Well, he didn't know he was a boxer anyway. Nakamura. He helps him out, and then the Ippo is knocked out. Like he's punched from the bullies, and then he gets taken to this boxing ring, and he finds like people boxing, and he had never known about boxing in his life. And long story short, the fighting Hajime no Ippo is about a young boy who was bullied, who has been working hard to help his mom in the fishing business, who has been trying to just be a nice kid. He lost his dad when he was younger, and he's just trying to he's shy, introverted, and he finds something that lights fire and like something that makes him passionate, and he loves boxing. And he grows as a boxer to the point where you cannot recognize that this is the same kid who was bullied, who is now fighting people who are way stronger than him, improving and training every single day, running, all the things. And the reason why I love Hajime no Ippo is because of how I feel like Ippo represents nearly everybody who's feeling like they can have more in life. Like the question that he asked his first mentor was, what does it feel to be strong? And just thinking about it now, I feel like I'm going to cry. Like he had been bullied his whole life. He had never been able to fight. He had never been able to throw a punch. And he's the reason why he started boxing, he wants to find out what does it feel like to be strong. And so when I watch Ippo and I see how he's training and every single, it's the funny thing about a lot of his sports animes that it's very repetitive. There's a strong opponent, you don't know what your hero is going to win, and then the fight, and then he wins. Sometimes he loses though. But every single time, the tension, the growth, the personal development, even within a fight, you see this young boy using the things that he's been practicing and learning. And man, I love anime more than movies because there are things that you cannot do with movies. Like recently I watched Southpaw again. Southpaw with Jake Gyllenhaal and I forgot the lady. Where is this? He's a pro boxer. His wife gets killed, and he has to come out for the. I'll just give you spoilers for the whole movie. But I watched Southpaw first of all. I've forgotten how much I love the song. Eminem did some soundtracks with Gwen Stefani for the movie. But it's about boxing too, and it just gets me thinking about how important it is. Like hard work is so important, and it can actually affect your whole life. If anything, right? You might not be born lucky or blessed. You're not intelligent, which is an oxymoron because everybody is intelligent. You're not creative. Everybody's creative. You might not think that you have what it takes to succeed in life. But I feel like if you're able to work hard, oh man, you can win. And even if you lose, because Ippo lost some battles, even when you lose, you learn that you never want to lose again. And you come back even way stronger than before. And that's the way I'm choosing to look at life now. Things are going to happen that you don't want that it should happen. Imposing is negative indeed. In a Cameroonian context, choosing your battles as it's an act of rebellion. Then I guess I'm a rebel. Who in this world, let me ask like a random question, who has ever been able to do anything important without being a rebel? Like, why was Jesus crucified? Was it not because he was seen as a rebel, that he was going against what people wanted? He's like the ultimate documented rebel. He showed up, told people to love each other and be nice, and they were like, nah, bruh. Out. Like, who has been able? Steve Jobs. I mean, I'm not comparing Jesus to Steve Jobs. Please don't misquote me. Who has been able to make anything worthwhile in this world without being a rebel? Who? And it excites me because I feel like even in our small ways, we can still be rebels. Take parenting. You can be a parent, you can be a rebel parent. I feel like my dad is a rebel. My parents are rebels in terms of parenting because I have hardly come across African families where kids can even give their opinion the way that my parents have allowed us to give our opinions. Like we're not disrespectful. We're not, we never went to the nightclub, which is not a bad thing, but we saw what my parents did. My parents never went out, so we never had the habit of going out. Drinking alcohol wasn't a thing that my parents did. My dad stopped smoking like years ago, probably before I was even born. Like the example I saw from my parents, the kind of way that they lived, I was like, well, this is cool. I never had to pick up any bad habits from my parents. The habits I picked up were probably from myself. by being a human being. So I feel like you have to be a rebel. You have to be a rebel. I'm not saying this like you don't have to. Gandhi was a rebel. Mother Teresa was a rebel. In a way, what is rebelling for me? My personal definition of being a rebel is going against what people think you should be doing. That's it. It doesn't have to be violent. It doesn't have to be aggressive. It doesn't have to be physically like fighting people. But I think you have to be a rebel. If everybody is doing something and you choose to do something else, that's you being a rebel. And I think it's okay. If everybody in Cameroon chooses to make money by being a scammer, and you're like, I'm going to go to school, you're being a rebel. So yes, if choosing my battles is an act of rebellion, I am happy to be a rebel. I will stand by my rebellion and I will lead the march. So thank you so much for coming to the stream and hanging out. Every Friday at 9:30. Minimizing others' realization is still rude. People need to understand that an advice is like a bolt. It's up to the advice to pick it up or not. Yeah, it goes both ways, right? I can choose to give you advice and you can choose to pick it. I can also choose how I give you advice, because there are people who have come to me. It's like this. Some people will give you good advice, but the way they will give you the advice might not work for you. Another person will give you advice by just punching your face, and the advice might be, don't walk in the middle of the night by yourself. So I feel like we can pick advice from every single context. But to clarify the context of what I am talking about is when people choose to come to you and tell you that they have seen something bad in your life and this is how you should fix it. So I'm not just talking about general advice, right? We're just talking about just life. It's more like elders, parents, people who think that they have more experience and who might actually have more experience, who come and tell you what and how you should live your life. That is where we need to re-educate people, I guess, to understand better about how to provide that feedback, how to share the feedback. I have made this mistake multiple times. I'm more than guilty of telling people what to do, how to do it based on my limited experience of them. And I've seen people who've done that based on their limited experience of me. And so my middle ground and the point that I'm trying to make is that we need to learn how to give advice. We need to be considerate of the context of the advice. Also, as the people who are receiving, we need to be able to know when is advice good and when it's not. So it's not just about people giving the advice. It's about you. Like, would you take advice from somebody that you cannot trust, somebody who is not living the life that you want? Pick your battles. Cannot fight everybody. Can't. Thanks, Kamga. It's always nice having you here. You sound so smart. I know. I know. Thank you for the compliment. It's one thing to sound smart, it's another thing to actually be smart. And the mistake, my biggest fear is that I say things that are not very correct because they sound smart and people will believe them. And so I try to have opposing perspectives to really know if what I'm saying rings true. So I love how Christian Cedric kept coming, to reinforce his perspective and enable me to think clearly about the things that I wanted to do. So it really helps me doing that. Hey, Juditha, welcome to the stream. You're coming towards the end. Yep. Oh man, thanks. Looks nice, bro. Victor, thank you for coming to the stream. I came late, I suppose. We tried to catch up. Thank you for it's recorded. Yes, it is recorded. He's indeed smart. Liz, I turned on my reminder for your live stream. I think you have a live stream coming up with relationships, something about dating for the first time. So I'm looking forward to watching that, or at least watching the replay. So yeah, I'm ending the stream now. The recording will always be up. And if you're watching and you actually want to support the channel, right here at the bottom, there's a link to my Patreon, and where it's attached to Discord, so you can, support me. Join the group, let people know that you like what you're watching, and help me build this channel. And yeah, you are very much welcome for being here. Thank you. I appreciate your time. My schedule has changed, so for anybody's coming towards the end now, my schedule has changed. So I work now almost all week except the weekends. And so I actually have work in like an hour. I have to wake up earlier and I sleep late because work finishes late. But I love the live streams because I get to interact with you. For me, this is actually more important than the videos that I make. So I've not been able to make videos this week because I got the COVID vaccine, punched me a little bit. and then just some other stuff that I'm dealing with. So I was just like, Kamga, just take a break, watch anime, and just eat food and just sleep, which is what I did. Self-care. You can only do self-care when you've done self-work. So yeah, if you have any questions, any last comments, anything else that you want me to talk about before I leave, I'm more than happy to engage in that. I have an hour before I start work, and I don't mind hanging out for a little bit because you're here. You're here. So yeah. God, the song is so sad. I feel like I have to leave you guys now. I miss playing with babies. I know that sounds like a very weird thing to say, but I like kids, babies, because they just want to play. Adults are just so serious all the time. Jesus. So when I see Miss Williams and her child and Darlene, I just get excited because the baby in me wants to come out and just play, just crawl on the floor. But yeah, c'est la vie. Let me see. Well, I hope because sometimes YouTube hides comment. Oh, retracted. I see. Sujik, I see your comment that you put up earlier about church. So yeah, Sheila, welcome. The stream is ending. If you haven't liked the video yet, please do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. If you want to support the channel, there's a Patreon page. It's the end of the stream. I'm just getting your last comment before I close it up. And I had a great time talking about my perspective on no one coming to save you. Christian Cedric brought up some very interesting perspectives that got me to rethink my stance and really to realize that in the Cameroonian context, in the African context, it's not that easy to just go against the grain and do what you want, right? As a child, as a young person, when you're born in a place like Cameroon, you sort of have to bend to the will of the people who are older than you. And so my perspective is from my what I was talking about from my context of I get distracted when I look at the comment section. This is something that happens to me all the time. It just reinforces how I cannot do two things at the same time. And just in life, the more you try to do multiple things, the more you fail. There's a Russian proverb: if you try to catch two rabbits, you catch none. I'll just look at the comment. Let me just read the comment. And it says, there's so many kids in Denver like back home, and I miss that too. The noise, the tantrums, the innocence. Yeah. Yep. Okay, there are no many kids. Sorry, there are not many kids in Denver like back home, and I miss that. The noise. See, it's funny how everywhere in the US is so quiet and that you get used to it and you don't realize how much you actually miss the noise. One day I'll do a stream about the things that I miss from home. I think the streams recently have been very personal development, growth type. I'm going to do an immigration type stream. Yeah, I'm going to do like something that has to do with nostalgia or lifestyle. Let's try to get a little bit more cultural. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that for the next stream. Next stream is going to be talking about home, and I'll see if I can invite. My dad has never been on my channel. I don't think he can. But yeah, talk about it a bit. So, Hadi, maybe we'll come to the stream next Friday and talk about it. Just bounce ideas about how different things have been for us since we moved and things like that. So, yeah, since there are no comments, and I feel bad for it, there's 7 people watching. Sheila, welcome. Liz, you're welcome. I don't want to go, but I have to go. So I will go now. Thank you again for being on the channel. It means a lot to me that you're here. You probably signed up because of the reaction videos or less. And I love this community. You have no idea how much you guys make me laugh. All right, cool. Let's do it. Victor says, I like it when you said sounding smart is different from being smart and you're open to discuss on any issues. That is being smart itself. Thank you, Victor. Thank you so much. You can watch the stream. You can leave comments. You can send me messages on Instagram. Reach out anytime if you want to join the community on Discord. I'm trying to build this community. So far, I have a few people who are subscribed to my Patreon page that's supporting me monthly. So there's a link. I will see you in the next video. In the meantime, you know what you have to do, right? You do your best always, and then let God take care of the rest. And I want to thank Christian Sejimbu. You're the MVP for this particular stream today. I feel like you stretch my mind more than I thought, and I agree. And I wish that one day we'll probably have a stream where we just talk about these things. You should come to the channel. Let's have a chat. That'll be nice. All right. I'll reach out to you and we'll see what we're going to do. Liz was here the whole time. Clive was said he was going to watch the stream, the replay. Hadi. Victor came towards the end. Judita showed up as well. Sheila, thank you. And Victor, I will see you all in the next one. Remember, once there's life, there is hope. Take care, my friends. Keep